In this video, we're going to be discussing whether you should or should not max out your Roth IRA, and just be discussing some nuances with Roth IRAs that I think are important to think about when planning for your future and just planning for your retirement, because that's ultimately what a Roth IRA is for. Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Frank Mularcik, and if you are new here, I would highly recommend you subscribe. I make videos on personal finance, investing, and the stock market, and talk a little bit about what I'm personally doing in the stock market and with my personal finance. So make sure you do subscribe and like this video, as that's also a great way to show your support, and we'll get right into it. So first, we just need to cover what exactly is a Roth IRA. And basically, a Roth IRA is just a retirement savings account in which you can contribute post-tax income to that account, and then at this certain age, when you go to withdraw those funds from the account, all of your gains on your investments are tax-free, and you don't have to pay any taxes on it. Now, there's definitely some nuance and caveats and rules there, but we're going to discuss all of that. So the first one is that you can only withdraw your earnings after age 59 and a half. At least that's the current age. It may change in the future, who knows, but currently you can only withdraw earnings after age 59 and a half, and if you do that before that age, then you'll have to pay taxes on those gains, and you'll have to pay some, I think, a 10% fee basically. But you can pretty much withdraw all of your contributions. So it's basically on a first in, first out basis. So whatever you contribute first, when you withdraw that is withdrawn and basically deducted from the amount you contributed. So even when you are withdrawing in retirement after age 59 and a half, when you first initially start withdrawing, you're technically still only withdrawing contributions. And there's some other nuances with withdrawals as well, such as I think you can basically withdraw earnings before age 59 and a half if it's for a qualified expense. And one of those, I think, is if you're a first-time home buyer, you can use that, or in some cases I think you can use it for education expenses and stuff like that. I'll definitely leave an article in the description from Investopedia about a Roth IRA. On the surface, it's pretty simple, but there's also some nuance that you can pay attention to and take advantage of, sort of. So that's important to understand. And the other important thing to understand about a Roth IRA is you can only contribute $6,000 per year, at least at the time that I'm making this in April of 2021. You can only contribute $6,000 per year. And there is an income limit. So I think if you make somewhere above like $140,000, then you can contribute less or nothing to a Roth IRA. And I think there's also a caveat where if you're over the age of 50, you can contribute a little bit more, maybe like $7,000. So these are all like specific rules at this time, and there's a possibility that those could change in the future. So definitely check those out just to be sure you understand how it all works. So a Roth IRA is generally best for someone that thinks they'll be in a higher tax bracket when they're retired, or looking to withdraw those contributions than they are right now. And the reason for that is because basically you're paying taxes on your income now, and then contributing that money to the Roth IRA, and then you're not paying taxes on it later. Whereas if you were to use, for example, a traditional IRA, you would not pay taxes on it now, and you would take your contributions as a tax deduction this year, and then in the future when you go to withdraw, you will have to pay taxes on those gains. And so if you're in a lower tax bracket in the future when you go to withdraw, then the traditional IRA route might be better. So for me, right now, since I'm a student, I really don't make that much money. So obviously it's hard to make enough money to max the Roth IRA, but at the same time, I think the Roth IRA is the best option for me since my tax bracket is pretty low, and I'll most likely be in a slightly higher tax bracket when I'm looking to retire and use this money. Another point I want to mention is if you want to, retire early, then you really can't access that money or your earnings until you're age 59 and a half. So if you want to retire before that, you probably don't want to dump all of your money into retirement accounts such as a Roth IRA or 401k. So that's just something to keep in mind. And it's also important to keep in mind that you can withdraw your contributions. So if you're below that age 59 and a half level and you want to withdraw your contributions, you could do that, but I think that's ultimately not the ideal situation, I would say. So my plan for my Roth IRA is I definitely want to keep contributing at the moment, like I said, just because I'm in a pretty low tax bracket right now, so I'll probably be in a slightly higher tax bracket when I'm trying to use this money. So I'm going to keep contributing, and my goal is to max it, the Roth IRA, in 2021. I really haven't contributed anything to it yet, but hopefully once I get my job this summer, I'll be able to make a lot more money than I'm making now and contribute a decent amount. And I'm just kind of playing with this right now, but I'm feeling once I'm a bit older and making a bit more money, maybe around like 25 or 30, at that point I might want to start using a traditional IRA instead, because I might be in a higher tax bracket then, and it might just be a little bit more advantageous. But the thing to keep in mind is I think it's pretty possible that I could contribute probably, or have a total amount in my Roth IRA of maybe around like $50,000 by the time I'm 25 or 30. And at that point, I can just let that sit there, for another 25, 30, 35 years. And that $50,000 is going to be able to grow a lot. So I actually did a calculation using an investment calculator and basically said if I had $50,000 at age 25, that means until age 59 and a half, when I can withdraw from the Roth IRA, generally that's about 35 years. So I use 35 years as my time horizon, and then I put an annual return rate of 8% because that's just pretty reasonable for the whole market. And then I said that I wasn't going to contribute anything else. And just from that $50,000 investment in 35 years, it turns into around $740,000, which is pretty incredible. And I'll put the screenshot of all that up there, and I'll put a link to that calculator in the description if you want to play with some numbers for yourself. And another reason I think I might not want to contribute to a Roth IRA when I'm older, and maybe not even contribute to a traditional IRA, is just because I would like to retire a little bit earlier than 59 and a half, hopefully a fair bit earlier than that. So in that case, I really wouldn't be able to access that money until 59 and a half. So I would want to make sure I had plenty of investments and other ways of generating income outside of my Roth IRA. So maybe once I'm a little bit older, I will stop contributing to the account. I'm not exactly sure, but I just wanted to talk about this because it's definitely a little bit more nuanced than most people make it out to be. I feel like most people say max out your Roth IRA, like you have to do that in order to be successful in personal finance, and in order to retire early or whatever. But I just don't think that's the case, and I think a lot of people need to consider that they won't really be able to access that money until they're 59 and a half. And my parents are sort of like going through that a little bit. My dad retired a year or two ago, I think, and he's less than 59 and a half, and they're just trying to make sure they'll be good for the next few years before they can access all those retirement accounts, because I think accounts like 401ks, those have that same 59 and a half age. So it's really just something I wanted to bring up. I think it's an important topic. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next one.